Number 10, Will Smith. Kicking off our list is husband, father, and it turns out ex Will Smith. In season 3, episode 12 of the series, Jada invited her husband Will onto the show so they could speak openly and publicly about the alleged relationship between herself and singer August Alsina during their brief separation in 2015. The singer claimed that he had to have Will's blessing to begin the relationship despite the pair technically being separated at the time and, well, beyond that. Jada confirmed the relationship did in fact take place, but they were on a break. She denies that Will ever gave August permission, but when referring to the situation as an entanglement, Will snaps and makes her correct herself to say relationship instead. While it may have been playful, seeing Will Smith get mad at all after 2022 just brings pure anxiety into my soul. Number 9, Leah Remini. The world of science. It's the gift that keeps on giving. In 2015, Leah Remini wrote a memoir called Troublemaker. In the book, Leah recounts seeing Jada appearing at scientific gatherings, specifically talking about one instance in particular when Jada refused to participate in a game of hide and seek with Tom Cruise in his backyard. Why does that sound like a dream that I had? When asked on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live for her side of the story, Pinkett Smith said that she remembered things differently and that the game was more like adults innocently playing hide and seek rather than an actual thing. Remini says that she took this as textbook fair gaming, a strategy with scientific folk where they mock and then unrelentingly discredit critics of their beliefs. On Red Table Talk, Smith explained a series of tweets defending her family and their religious beliefs, and later stated that she actually grew up in a fairly liberal household and was allowed to explore all religions and just kind of chose which ones that she liked for herself. Remini reminded Pinkett Smith of her high celebrity status, stating that she was interrogated for months after simply asking one member of the crew where the leader's wife was, like not if she was alive, just how she was doing. Things ended civilly between the two, with both agreeing that despite the feud and misunderstanding, that it's never too late to heal. Ew. Number 8, Nick Cannon. TV personality and full-time baby maker Nick Cannon has been open about his disdain for the series for quite some time, denying multiple requests to actually show up on Red Table Talk. After the show's cancellation, Cannon took to Twitter to express his joy, stating that the show was toxic and added that there was too much honesty on a program, saying that he just wanted to mind his own business and asked if everyone else could do the same thing. He also claimed that if it weren't for his involvement with the program, that husband Will Smith would have never even thought of touching Chris Rock's face, but we now know that that's not the case. I understand the hate. Red Table Talk got into too much information territory way too many times to be a normal talk show, and Jada seeks out reasons to bring her family on the air constantly. I'm all for family drama, but maybe not in front of a camera being recorded to share with millions of people, especially got a book coming out anyway. Number 7, Tom Segura. Comedian Tom Segura was one of many celebrities to speak out after the now infamous Chris Rock incident at 2022. Now, I will be paraphrasing the things Tom says, as I don't want to just quote a series of bleeps over and over again. It gets rough. Tom tweeted, "This girl has been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame AF. You super sensitive about it? Buy a wig." Boom. Roasted. While Pinkett Smith hasn't herself commented on the posts, many fans were quick to defend Jada and call out the comedian as a bully. Fans of Segura know his style, and he kept to that, responding to the haters, comparing their sensitivity to a certain member of his anatomy, before posting a video of him landing in New York City and stating, "Just landed in NYP, you dusty bald-headed snitches. See you at the show." Personally, I'd love to see Jada and Tom go head-to-head in a roast battle. If we could put that on the air instead of everything that's been on the air, that would be great. Number 6, Gabrielle Union. The beef started 17 years ago, a long time to hold a grudge, but why? Well, they don't really know. Jada brought Gabrielle onto the show to address the fact that despite the two always crossing paths and being cold with each other, that neither could remember what caused the tension. Union called Jada on the phone, and they both attempt to piece together what exactly left such a terrible taste in each other's mouth. They tried and tried, but they could not remember, and eventually Union agreed to appear on the show, where the two just kind of put the past behind them and they laughed it off, chalking it up to the drama of young divas. They had a good time on the show, just catching up and discussing life, and it actually apparently turned out pretty okay. I know this is supposed to be negative, but hey, let's all take a deep breath and just enjoy the fact that there was an okay conversation on that show one time, and only one time. Everything else is very bad. Number 5, August Alsina. Mentioned previously in the list, August Alsina is a rapper and the former love interest of the star of our list, Jada Pinkett Smith. The two first met in 2015 at a concert for Jaden and Willow Smith, and their connection was was instant. The two became very good friends as August was going through some substance control issues at the time, and Smith was this helpful hand that he needed. This would explain why over time their relationship turned romantic after Jada and Will took their brief break from their marriage, but Jada wasn't left alone. August told radio host Angela Yee that he truly and really deeply loved her. That is a direct quote. Unfortunately for August, Jada thought it would be a wonderful idea to bring out her husband Will and air out their dirty laundry on Red Table Talk. August was revealed as a secret lover, but the Smiths say that they reached a level of unconditional love within their marriage. But we all know that they've been separated for 7 years, so that was bull poo poo. Number 4, Jaden Smith. Another member of the Smith family, Jaden is remembered by many as the little guy from the Karate Kid remake, but he's now mainly known for his singing chops and fashion abilities actually. Jaden has been living in the shadow of his father from day one, being thrust into the limelight before he even hit double digits. With famous parents comes challenges, and one of those challenges seems to be a lack of hugs. The Smith kids are famously left to their own devices and have been financially independent from a very young age, meaning they never really had to ask mom and dad to help buy them something because they just did it themselves. They had the money. They can make that much now. Episode of Table Talk, Jaden confronts his mother on the way he was raised, claiming the style of parenting ruined his life and his ability to connect with people. Jaden has consistently been a good soul in the media and is extremely loyal to his fan base, something that he most certainly didn't learn from his mother. Number 3, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is an American personality and socialite present in the media for years, starring alongside her fellow family members on the hit show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Khloe released a series of tweets a while back claiming that men blaming the women in the relationship for all of their issues was invalid and hurtful. While this is true sometimes, many have called out the star in her comments during a very famous interview from Red Table Talk in which Jordyn Woods came forward and told the truth about an alleged cheating scandal. The man in question, Tristan Thompson, claimed that Jordyn performed a number of provocative activities, but she denied many of those claims. Despite this, Khloe publicly blamed Jordyn for the breakup in her family and names her as an enemy. During all this, Jada Smith just kind of sat back, watched, and laughed while everything was happening, sipping her tea in a red chair. Number 2, Chris Rock. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscars when he decided to make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. It was a great joke. Immediately following the joke, which landed for everybody else in the audience, Will Smith stood up, walked on stage, and clocked Chris in the face. Now, initially this was seen as a joke between the two, but then Will started shouting several times at Chris to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. It's still burned into my memory to this day. Chris handled the situation well, getting back to the festivities and just kind of keeping the night going along. But then, Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor. Rock took to social media to address the controversy and let everybody know that he meant no harm and felt the response to have been highly extreme. He also claims that if Jada had found the joke funny, nothing would have happened. In fact, moments before walking on stage, you can see Will Smith giggling. It's almost like she whispered, "Get him." And then it activated some kind of a destruct code. Jada posted several videos claiming that Rock was dragging the situation out too long and to put the past behind him. "I'm sorry, Smith family, no Ben and Black mind eraser things here. Those aren't real. That was just a movie." It's just a movie, Nate. Number 1, Sheree Zampino. Don't recognize that name? Well, only hardcore Will Smith fans might, because Sheree is Will's ex-wife. Briefly married in the mid-90s, Will and Sheree were adorable together, regularly appearing at red carpet events and movie premieres. Adorable and inseparable. It's so cute. But behind the scenes, things weren't peachy at all. It was revealed on an episode of Red Table Talk that Jada Pinkett Smith briefly partook in an affair with Will in 1995. Jada claims that Sheree and Will were towards the end of their relationship and was simply in her eyes dating a newly divorced man. She would later admit that technically that wasn't true, and while Will was divorced, hadn't really come into play yet. Sheree discovered what was taking place and went off on the couple, and not long after, ended the marriage. In 2018, the two got back together to speak candidly about the incident on Red Table Talk. Just another one of the terrible episodes that I truly recommend that you don't watch. Number 10. Will Smith. Kicking off our list is husband, father, and professional smack master himself, Will Smith Esq. Esquire. In season 3, episode 12 of the series, Jada invited her husband, Will, onto the show so that they could talk and speak openly and publicly about an alleged relationship between herself and the singer August Alsina during a brief separation in 2015. The singer claimed that he had to have Will's blessing to begin the relationship in the first place, despite the pair technically being separated at the time. Jada confirmed that the relationship did in fact take place, but they were on a break, you know? Like, come on, they were on a break. She denies that Will ever gave August permission, you know, but when referring to the situation as an entanglement, Will snapped and he made her correct herself, saying, hey, it's a relationship, okay? Say the word relationship. Now, while it may have been playful, seeing him get mad at all after 2022 just brings pure anxiety into my soul. So please keep calm and Will Smith, go on. Number 9, Leah Remini. Scientology, the gift that just keeps on giving. Well, in 2015, Leah Remini wrote a Scientology exposing memoir called Troublemaker. In said book, Leah recounts seeing Jada appearing at Scientology gatherings, recounting one instance in particular when Jada refused to participate in a game of hide and seek in Tom Cruise's backyard. Why does that sound like the start to just a really bad joke? That actually happened? That's something that happened? Wow. I want to go to Tom Cruise's backyard. When asked on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live for her side of the story, Pinkett Smith said that she remembered the story differently and that the game was more like adults innocently playing hide and seek with their children. But Remini says she took this as textbook fair gaming, which is a strategy with Scientologists, where they mock and then unrelentingly discredit critics of their religions. Now, on Red Table Talk, Smith explained a series of tweets defending her family and their religious beliefs, later stating that she actually grew up in a fairly liberal household and was allowed to explore all religions and just simply choose for herself which one she wanted to commit to. Now, Remini reminded Pinkett Smith of her high celebrity status and stated that Remini herself was interrogated for months by the Scientology community after just simply asking one member of the church where the leader's wife was. Like, not if she was alive, just how's she doing, you know? Things ended civilly between the two, with both agreeing that despite the feud and misunderstanding, that it's never too late to heal. Number 8, Nick Cannon. TV personality and full-time baby maker Nick Cannon has been open about his disdain for the series for quite some time, denying multiple requests to appear on the show. But after the show's cancellation last week, Cannon took to Twitter to express his pure joy, stating that the show was toxic and added that there was too much honesty to the program, saying that he just wants to mind his own business and asked that she does the same. He also claimed that if it weren't for his involvement with the program, that husband Will Smith would have never even thought of slapping Chris Rock, and that she somehow stoked the fire that fueled his rage that night. I understand the hate. Red Table Talk got into too much information territory way too many times to be a normal talk show, and Jada seeks out reasons to bring her family on there constantly. Now, I'm all for family drama, but not in front of a camera, you know, being recorded to share for millions of people. I don't need the world to know that. Cannon is no stranger to family drama, but you can just Google that. Number 7, Tom Segura. Comedian Tom Segura was one of many celebrities to speak out after the now infamous Chris Rock incident at the Oscars in 2022. Now, I'll be paraphrasing here as I don't want to just quote a series of bleeps over and over again. That's no fun. So Tom tweeted, "This girl been bald. Jokes about it or her are fine. It was tame AF. You super sensitive about it? Buy a wig." Boom. Roasted. While Pinkett Smith hasn't herself commented on the posts, many fans were really quick to defend Jada, calling the comedian a bully. Now, fans of Segura know his style, and he kept to that, responding to the haters, comparing their sensitivity to a certain member of his anatomy, before posting a video of him landing in New York City and stating, "Just landed in NYC, you dusty, bald-headed female dogs. See you at the show." Personally, I'd love to see Jada and Tom go head-to-head in a roast battle. I would make that a talk show. I'll watch that on Facebook. Number 6, Gabrielle Union. This beef started 17 years ago, a long time to hold a grudge, but what for exactly? Well, they don't know either. Jada brought Gabrielle on the show to address the fact that despite the two always crossing paths and being cold with each other, that they just couldn't remember why. Union called Jada on the phone and they both attempted to piece together what exactly left such a terrible taste in each other's mouths.
They tried and tried and tried, but they just couldn't remember it, and eventually Union agreed to appear on the show, where the two put the past behind them and they were just able to laugh it off, chalking it up to the drama of young divas. They had a good time on the show, just catching up, discussing life, and it actually turned out to be a pretty heartwarming episode. I know this is a mainly negative list so far, so let's all just take a deep breath, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button so you can always be a part of the drama. Now, seeing as the show's editors have done their very best to make Jada look good, I will also be including some people who weren't on the show, but were or shared their feelings afterwards, or just had some kind of involvement with her. Number 5, August Alsina. Now, mentioned previously in this list, August Alsina is a rapper and the former love interest of the star of our list, Miss Jada Pinkett Smith. The two first met in 2015 at a concert for Jaden and Willow Smith, and the connection was instant. The two became very good friends as August was going through some substance issues, and Smith was the helpful hand he needed to get through. This would explain why over the time the relationship began to turn romantic. After Jada and Will took a brief break from their marriage, Jada wasn't just left alone. She had a shoulder to cry on. August. August told radio host Angela Yee this past June that he truly and really just deeply loved her. Unfortunately for August, Jada thought that it would be a wonderful idea to bring her husband on the show and air out their dirty laundry. So August was revealed as a secret lover, but the Smiths said that they've reached a level of unconditional love within their marriage. Before being painted as the enemy, August released a statement letting everybody know that I'm always going to be in the driver's seat of my life and control my own narrative. Just steer clear of Will's right hand. It's a bit dangerous. Number 4, Jaden Smith. Another member of the Smith family, Jaden is remembered by many as the little boy from the Karate Kid remake, but he's now mainly known for his rapping and singing chops. Jaden's been living in the shadow of his father from day one, being thrust into the limelight before he even hit double digits. With famous parents comes challenges. One of those challenges seems to be a lack of hugs. Oh, that's sad. The Smith kids are famously left to their own devices and have been financially independent from a very young age, meaning they've never really had to ask mom and dad to help buy something for them or even save money for everything because they've just kind of always had it. They make it themselves now. Who needs them? In an episode of Table Talk, Jaden confronted his mother on the way that he was raised, claiming that their style of parenting ruined his life and his ability to connect with people. Now, Jaden has constantly been a good soul in social media and is extremely loyal to his fan base, so don't worry, man, you've got a massive family out there. It's 1 million strong. Let's just not all try to hug him at once. Number 3, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is an American personality and socialite, according to Wikipedia. Present in the media for years, starring alongside her fellow family members of the hit show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe released a series of tweets a while back claiming that men blaming women in their relationships for all of their problems was invalid and hurtful. And while this is true, many have called out the star on her comments because of a famous interview from Red Table Talk, which is Jordyn Woods. Jordyn Woods came forward and told the truth about an alleged cheating scandal. The man in question, Tristan Thompson, claimed that Jordyn performed a number of provocative acts, but she denies many of these claims. Despite this, Khloe publicly blamed Jordyn for the entire breakup of her family and names her as the enemy every time. But during all this, Jada Smith just sat back and watched the drama unfold instead of having anything to do with it. So, yeah, that's kind of worse than what Khloe did. Just saying. Help. Number 2, Chris Rock. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscars ceremony, where he decided to make a little joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. Immediately following the joke, which landed for everybody else in the audience, okay, Will Smith stood up, walked on stage, and just clocked Chris right in the face. Now, initially being seen as a planned joke or something between the two, Will then started shouting several times at Rock to keep his wife's name out his mouth. Chris handled the situation well, getting back onto the festivities and just kind of helping the night move on and making it seem like nothing happened. But after Smith won the Oscar for Best Performance, Rock took to social media to address the controversy and let everybody know that he meant no harm, and he felt the response Will had was highly extreme. He also claims that if Jada had found the joke funny, that nothing would have happened. In fact, moments before walking on stage, you can actually see Will Smith giggle. Like, it's almost like she whispered at him like, get him, and it activated some kind of kill code or destruction code, and he just went for it. Jada posted several videos claiming that Rock was dragging the situation out too long and to put the past behind them, but I'm sorry, Smith family, there's no Men in Black mind erasers here, okay? Chris Rock can still hear the ringing in his ears today. Come on. Number 1, Sheree Fletcher. Let me guess, you don't recognize that name. Well, only hardcore Will Smith fans would, because Sheree is Will's ex-wife. Briefly married in the mid-90s, Will and Sheree were adorable together. They were regularly appearing at red carpet events, movie premieres, just adorable, inseparable, wonderful. But behind the screen, things weren't all peachy. It was revealed on an episode of Red Table that Jada Pinkett briefly partook in an affair with Will in 1995. Now, Jada claims that Sheree and Will were towards the end of their relationship and was simply, in her eyes, dating a newly divorced man. But she would later admit that technically that wasn't the case, and while Will was technically divorced hadn't really come into play yet, Sheree discovered what was taking place and went off on the couple. Not long after that, ended her marriage with Will Smith. And in 2018, the two got back together to speak candidly about the incident on Red Table. Definitely an episode worth checking out.
Number 10, 50 Cent. Jada and her entanglement with August Alsina was news that shocked the entire world when it was revealed on Red Table Talk. For 50 Cent, this was the most annoying thing that he's ever had to deal with in his entire life. Following the revelation, social media users were flocking to Instagram sharing their opinions and messages with their friends, including 50 Cent. He contacted Will Smith, his buddy, and ended up cursing him out. 50 asked him why Jada said that on a show for the world to see, adding that she said only she can give permission for someone to blow her back out. I'm not really sure what that means, like with an air pump? Will responded with more swearing, and in October of 2021, 50 decided to comment on the marriage again, having the exact same issues that a ton of people are having with this woman. Jada is picking and choosing her moments to make things happen. She's revealing information about her book because it's stirring the pot. If you watch the interview where she revealed all this information, you can actually see her just kind of like zoning out and faking her way through the entire interaction. All the while she's just maniacally laughing in her head. Just 50 posted on his Instagram asking Jada why she had to share her life story with the entire world when it just calls her character into question every single time. Number 9, Will Smith. If there's anyone on this planet that has the right to not like Jada Pinkett Smith, it's her estranged husband, Will Smith. Seeing as they've secretly been separated for 7 years, he surely holds some tinge of frustration towards Jada. This man has endured public humiliation several times, both caused by him and by Jada. And in this past week alone, Jada has revealed so much information about her marriage to Will and what's really been going on behind the scenes. Not only were they separated, but it's been revealed that she was in love with the late rapper Tupac Shakur. Yeah, Will has been blindsided by all this information and is taking it as well as he can. Jada's book isn't even out yet, and this man is already stressed out, so of course he's starting to truly hate Jada. Number 8, Stacey Dash. Stacey started her career just like Will Smith, in a small project in the 1990s. For Will, it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and for Stacey, it was Clueless. But as Will got into movies, Stacey made a move into the world of politics. When Will and Jada announced that they were boycotting the Oscars in 2016, Dash was front and center in the crowd of confused people. Stacey went on air to share her views, which made sense. The issue that Jada and Will had with that year's event, for those of you who don't remember, was that there were no people of color nominated for an Oscar in a majority of the categories. So Will and Jada, along with a lot of other people, announced they'd be boycotting the event. Stacey called Jada's choice questionable because the real issue for her was not that there was no nominees, but that Hollywood hadn't given a lot of people of color the opportunity to even perform in leading roles that year. As the years went by, more and more opportunities have arisen, and as we all know, Will Smith eventually won an Oscar. Real Cinderella story. Get this guy some glass slippers. To summarize, Jada Smith bad, and she is not allowed in the Oscars anymore. Number 7, Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle and Jada collided several times on the red carpet over the years, as their careers would often intertwine with each other. Now, you might know Gabrielle from Bring It On or Meet Dave, and you may want to forget Jada Smith from Scream 2 and The Nutty Professor. However, when they were together, there was just this awkward vibe. Apparently, Jada did not speak to Gabrielle for 17 years of their interactions, and both of them couldn't remember what caused it. Gabrielle claimed that there was just always tension between the two every time that they would see each other. A few years ago, Jada reached out to her to clear things up. The conversation ended with them agreeing that they were both just divas at the time with diva mentalities, and Jada invited Union onto Red Table Talk, now cancelled, and said that she needed to apologize for her behavior, claiming that she was in a terrible place and is just in a much better one right now. Sure. Union later appeared on Today and shared that they were both insecure and that was really what caused the rift, but it's mighty convenient that she was ready to talk once she had a platform to record and release that conversation onto. Make up with a celebrity and make money online. Double whammy. Number 6, Vivica A. Fox. Vivica A. Fox is best known for her roles in movies like Independence Day and Schmill Bill. She made her opinions on Jada public when Will did his thing at the Oscar ceremony in 2022. Vivica claimed that Will deserved a second chance while bashing Jada's comments on the situation. While she was on the Wendy Williams show, Fox tearfully reacted to Jada's Red Table Talk remarks about moving forward after the incident. Vivica was Will's co-star in Independence Day, and she also worked with Jada on the film Set It Off in the same year. So she was familiar with these two and had a little bit of a relationship with them. Jada's comments following the show were that she had no part in what happened at the Oscars and just felt horrible thinking the whole thing was a skit. Whether she did or not, she didn't make a single attempt to stop Will Smith from getting on the Oscar stage, and that's kind of her big problem with the night. Number 5, Chris Rock. Now, ahead of the release of her new book, Jada has revealed a ton of information, which were originally just rumors. Now, while we have covered the fact that she separated from Will Smith for a while, one fun piece of information that got revealed was that, well, she had a little bit of an entanglement with Chris Rock, if you know what I mean. Entanglement? It's lovemaking. It's been revealed that before Chris Rock was slapped across the face by Will Smith, Chris had actually asked Jada Pinkett Smith out on a date. Now, when you hear that, you're probably like, oh, he asked her out before they met. No, it was actually in 2016 at the height of the first round of separation rumors, which I guess it turned out were real. Look at that. At the time, Chris either had some inside info or he just believes everything he reads online. According to Jada herself, Chris actually reached out to shoot his shot. He called her and said that he'd love to take her out on a date, to which she replied, "Why?" and told Jada that he was under the impression that herself and Will were getting a divorce for real. But when she revealed that that wasn't the case, Chris was so embarrassed and started to apologize over and over again. Though they moved past it, there's just a little part of Chris that still remains calling out, "Jada! Jada! Ah!" Number 4, Leah Remini. For those who don't know, Jada lives in a world of science. Yeah, I can't talk about what that means, but if you've ever Googled L. Ron Hubbard and science, you'll know what I'm talking about. Leah Remini, who you might know from King of Queens or Old School, is more than just an actor. She is also very outspoken against Jada's beliefs. The rumors that Will and Jada were big into science, something Leah mentions in her book, had been running around for years. Her book, Troublemaker: Surviving Hollywood and Weird Science, brought to light some pretty interesting revelations, and she brought up the situation of science again when speaking to the Daily Beast in 2017. She claimed to know for certain that Jada was involved for a very long time and that she had never seen Will attending any events, but she did spot Jada attending one at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. Jada clapped back on Twitter, naming all of the houses of worship that she had visited without being a member. A year later, Leah appeared on the now canceled Red Table Talk. I know that you know it's canceled, I just like to remind everyone. After the interview, Jada gushed about how they connected in the interview, claiming that they were two broken little babies inside both of them who were abandoned by their parents. Yeah, Leah just said, man, that lady's crazy. Number 3, herself. Now, if it isn't clear already from the years of sharing private information for profit, no matter who it hurts, Jada hates herself. For sure. Only someone who truly despises the way that they are would share what Jada has shared. Her love life, her personal life, and now everything down to what she eats for breakfast. Now, if all you do is profit from your own pain, that's a sad existence. Plus, it's no surprise that Jada started sharing this juicy gossip only a few days before her new book is supposed to come out. Many speculate that her entire life is just one big PR stunt at this point. Over the years, she's been in the media for a ton of things, whether it's boycotting the Oscars, getting fired from her own talk show, or honestly just the general nonsense that comes from this woman. Number 2, August Alsina. The world was shocked when R&B singer August Alsina came forward to confirm one of the longest rumors around Jada and Will's marriage, admitting that he had an affair with Jada Pinkett Smith in 2015. During an interview, he claimed that he actually sat down with Will Smith and got his blessing to do his thing thanks to the nature of their relationship shifting. He insisted that the couple had nothing to be ashamed of and that he loved the Smith family. While Will Smith has denied ever giving him a blessing, in fact he didn't even know that that was a thing until he heard about it online, Jada admitted to the entanglement on Red Table Talk, where she explained to her husband that it was a moment she regretted, but the entire time was referring to the infidelity as an entanglement, like it was two Christmas lights getting stuck together in a box. While many were of course confused as to why she would admit this on the internet, people to see, there were also people who were wondering if she might have taken advantage of August, because at the time he was only 22 and had been struggling with his health, suffering from an autoimmune condition that left him hospitalized multiple times. Jada even admitted to being his mentor at the time, which, I don't know, this sounds like a pretty weird mentor-mentee relationship. And at number 1, Janet Hubert. Now, Will Smith got his big break in the acting world thanks to his success on the sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show followed him as the titular prince living with his family in Bel-Air, surrounded by cousins, uncles, and Aunt Viv. And in season 1, Aunt Viv was played by Janet Hubert Witten, but as a lot of people know, she was recasted after an on-set feud with Will got a little bit too heated. According to Will, Janet thought that he was an antagonist in her life. She had been in the business for years, when suddenly Will Smith was this young dude who popped into her life and he got her leading role on a show. And he got a leading role on a show. She held a tinge of jealousy towards Will and he just walked into town, got the gig, and that was it. Well, that's what happens when you're good at your job, right? She was trying to convince the producers to give her character more screen time and allow her to breathe, but they said no because it wasn't her show, it was Will's show. So she fought back hard and it was ultimately decided that she was gonna sit out for the rest of the series and be replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid, who we all know as the main Aunt Viv. Janet has attempted to get into contact with Will and Jada over the years, but it's only ever been a negative experience for everyone involved, which means that she must be harboring a lifelong hatred for the Smiths.